So for the past 48 hours, give or take, I've been playtesting a game that's been hyped so much and anticipated to the point where this could make some sort of impact in the current age of gaming, even if it is minuscule. If you don't trust me, I don't blame you, okay? Gaming has given us the worst hand of cards in the past decade, so it's only fair to be skeptical. Now don't get too skeptical now, because today we're talking about a game made by who I would call the Masters of Destruction. Today, we're talking about the Finals. Also, be sure to sub to the channel if you enjoyed today's video. Okay, let's continue. The Finals is an arena game show style multi-team FPS where the main objective is to steal the most money. Boom. Simple. Now, remember me mentioning the quote-unquote Masters of Destruction? Well, first, if you don't, you may have a really bad case of brain fog. Second, that's because this game was made by Embark Studios, where a lot of the talent that work there now used to work at DICE for Battlefield 3 and 4. And if you've been missing the destruction physics in those games like I have, it's because they've been working on this game. And while we're on the topic of that, let's talk about the destruction. It is off the damn chain. It is satisfying as to blow things up in this game. Literally 95% of everything on the map is destructible, and it makes for some really interesting engagements because if an enemy team is stealing a vault of money, there's a chance you can blow out the floor from underneath it to retrieve the cash out so you can steal it instead. Speaking of maps, there are only two at the moment, Seoul and Monaco. Both maps are extremely vertical in the sense of if you aren't used to that style of combat, you're gonna have a rough go at it, especially Seoul. Not to say it's entirely vertical, but you're rarely going to be fighting on a flat level anytime during your gameplay. Hell, I would say the flattest map in the game is Monaco, but even then, it's still got tons of buildings for you to scale, so there you go. To go over the gameplay itself, you get three different classes: light, medium, and heavy. Light classes are the flankers and speedy as shit. Medium is the standard sort of FPS character you play as in any sort of FPS game. And then we have the heavy class, which is a big old bullet sponge bastard with the worst M60 in history. I don't know why it's so bad, it's just terrible. At the moment, there are only two game modes as well: Cash Out and Tournament. Cash Out is the primary mode that I described earlier, and Tournament is the same thing, but round-based. And to explain the tournament mode a little bit better, all four teams compete against each other, the losing team gets eliminated, the winning teams go to the next round, and you kind of keep cycling that until one team comes out the winner. And in these games, there are random events that happen, such as Dead Go Boom, where recently killed players explode, Meteor Shower, where God basically punishes you for breathing by sending spicy rocks at your location, Mega Damage, which is standard damage, and Deathmatch, which earns you more money the more people you kill. Now that we've covered all the bases, let's talk about what I like, okay? I personally like the aesthetic of this game. I do. This game show-esque appearance gives me Squid Games vibes, or even Guns Akimbo, you know, the movie with Daniel Radcliffe that wasn't Harry Potter. You know, he's got like guns welded to his hands and shit. People are live streaming people killing each other. I don't know. It's a good movie. Go watch it. The concept of a multi-team race to the top gameplay loop is something that we rarely see now, and the only other game I can think of off the top of my head that's done this was Plunder from MW19's Warzone. The outfits also look dope as hell on all these characters, no matter the build, which adds that extra flash to whatever you do. And speaking of flash, the intro sequences for these teams are always fire in my opinion. I don't think I ever have anything bad to say about them. Overall, it's a really fun shooter. And that's about where it ends, because we got to do our job of devil's advocate and talk about some of the issues with this game. First and foremost, the TTK. Who the f thought that this was okay? The TTK damn near rivals that of Halo, where it takes half a mag, a tactical nuke, and a prayer that the enemy dies. And I'm not asking for MW2 levels of TTK where you die so quick you can't process what's going on, but tone it down a little bit. I'm shooting humans, I'm not shooting tanks. Just fix it, please. Second, mantling needs some work. Now, I don't know about y'all, but mantling was never a strong suit in any of the Battlefield games, right? However, I'd be willing to bet my damn pinky toe in saying that their mantling felt a lot better than this game. It like picks you up and then kind of shoves you forward a little bit. Why? It's so disorienting because half the time I'm mashing buttons trying not to die, and then I go to mantle and it throws me forward and leaves me looking like a damn clown because I'm not expecting it. I don't know how you would improve this, but I'm sure someone else would find a way to do it. But just get it done. Third, and this almost had me Will Smith smack the shit out of my monitor, the knife the light class has needs to go. So here's a common play I see people do, okay? Tune in a little bit. They'll run at you like a Floridian on bath salts, slashing the air. They'll get behind you, stab you, and immediately kill you. Now you're probably thinking, well, what's the issue there, Blackout? And as far as I know, that works with all the melee weapons. Sledgehammers, bats, you name it, it can do it. Now, if you get one of these cringy COD movement kids behind the controls of the light class, just go ahead and just take your hands away from the keyboard, because there ain't a damn thing you can do. Sure, they're easy to kill, but sorry Yellow Jackets when they're not circling your ass in satanic patterns trying to poke you. Fourth and finally would be the respawn timer. Okay, if you can think of a game that over punishes you for losing, it's this. If you die, you get a somewhat lengthy respawn timer, right? But not too long. If the whole team dies, that timer resets back to 30 seconds and there's nothing you can do. As far as bugs go, it's a closed beta, y'all. So yes, there are bugs, but the devs have already put out a patch for the most common issues people were having, like hit registration issues, client crashing, etc. I think what Embark Studio needs to do is focus on the most critical feedback, obviously. And not the people screaming, game trash, L game, Hyperscape better, which I'm going to stop memeing for a second and be real for a sec, because I've actually seen people comment this. If you think Hyperscape is better than any game whatsoever, do me a favor and never buy another video game or console again. Just go ahead, delete yourself off the internet. You're done. Like always, I want to know what you think down below. Is the game new and refreshing? Is it not for you? Let me know. And while you're down there, go ahead and steal that like button and cash out on that sub button till the balance says all, so you can get all this rich and bountiful content on this new channel. This is Sir Blackout signing off to make sure Mr. Beast doesn't make the final something real. Lord help us all. Later.